broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Nice beat. Yes. Oh, what's that instrument called?
Oh, baby,
Woo, that's pretty good. Is that one of your favorites?
That's my favorite.
All right.
That's my favorite.
Right, just get a little, set the mood, the little Marvin Gaye. Yeah. All right. Thank you. We got to get a little bit of energy up in here to start. Hello, everybody. Good evening. It's Candice Camacho here reporting for AFTERBUZZ TV. And today we're doing a spotlight on with the multi-talented actor, director, coach, William Stanford Davis.
Hi, Candice.
Yay. AKA Potato Pie. Stan.
Yes.
Should I call you Stan?
Everybody calls me Stan.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure to get to know you over, social media and YouTube and your Facebook, and everything that I've found is you just seem like such a nice guy.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope you feel that way when we're done.
I hope so. I hope so. You seem like you have an amazing heart for what you do, and you love what you do, and you like spreading the love to everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, so far there's, I used to pray, God, show me something else if you want me to do something else, and so far he hasn't shown me anything else. Yeah. So I love doing this. I love it, every minute of it.
I've actually said the same thing to the Lord. I'm like, can't I just go to college to do something that's a for sure deal, but
right.
If it's in your heart, if you got the bug,
right.
Nothing else will do.
Yeah, I mean, nothing else will do. I mean, I coach and teach kids and adults sometimes, and I tell them, if you can do something else, do it.
Oh, that's good advice.
Yeah,
that's really good advice. But okay, well, we have that in common, and I found a couple other things that we also have in common, Stan.
Okay.
First of all, we're both from Missouri.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know you were okay.
I am. Missouri. I'm from Kansas City, born and raised.
Okay.
All my family still lives there.
Okay,
And you're
I got
from
a lot
St.
of friends
Louis.
there. I'm from St. Louis.
Just show me state.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of friends in Kansas City, a lot of friends who went to Lincoln and Paseo, and I'm trying to think of all the high schools, but I went to a small school in mid-Missouri, in Jefferson City, Missouri, Lincoln University.
Okay.
In the middle of the state.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to college at in Springfield, Missouri.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Missouri through and through, all right.
Yeah, city of, show me state, city of fountains, Kansas City. So you've been shopping on the plaza.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I remember when they built the plaza.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And have you seen the plaza during Christmas time?
No.
Oh, man, you got to see it sometimes. So gorgeous. They literally have millions and millions of lights.
I bet.
Yeah.
I like Kansas City a lot. Like I say, I have a lot of friends there, but it's in my top 10 favorite cities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I found a picture of you in a convertible, so we both like convertibles. I'm a mom now, so I don't drive convertibles anymore, but for a long time. Well, she's very sensitive to the wind and stuff like that.
I see.
So,
okay.
And we both like Chilean wine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in Santiago right before Christmas.
Okay.
And I was able to bring back a little Chilean wine without any problems at customs.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
What was that picture that I saw? Is that your actual wine collection, or was that in a store?
That was actually, I wish it was my wine collection. That was actually at a bar in Santiago. Actually it was a restaurant. We went there to eat, and it was just row after row after row of these outstanding wines. I just took a picture of it. I wanted to have something from that particular place to remember the trip back.
Yeah, wow. It's a memorable trip. It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to know, so you grew up in Missouri.
St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis, where not a lot of entertainment is around. You know, it's not like LA. So did you always want to do entertainment?
Well, St. Louis has changed because there's not a lot of entertainment around, but growing up, it had a lot of that's what inspired me. I mean, Miles Davis was from St. Louis, Red Fox, different people like that. So, but for some reason, you know, my parents, my grandparents, they kept me around music, kept me around theater, and that was kind of became what my heart desired.
So did they play music in the house, or did they take you to concerts?
All the time. Music in the house all the time. Took me to everything from the symphony to see musicals, went to the opera, you know, all those types of things. So it's always been a part of who I am.
Oh, that's great. So from the time you were a kid.
From the time I was a kid. I have this, it's like an old Richard Pryor joke. I have one set of grandparents that took me to the symphony and we listened to all the classical stuff, and then I had my other grandparents who let me hear the blues.
Oh, okay.
You know, so it's kind of a good mix.
So that's how you got your first love for R&B.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's through singing or hearing music just growing up.
Growing up listening to, oh my God, I go way back. I can say some groups you wouldn't even know the names of, but the very first concert I went to was to see Jackie Wilson. And it knocked my socks off. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen in my life. Even when I think about it now, I get goosebumps.
And you were like, that's what I want to do.
If I could do that, that's exactly what I want to do.
Is that the moment in your career when you were like, okay, I want an out-of-the-box career? Yeah,
I mean, you know, we would go to see, like I said, we go to the symphony, and we go to musicals. In St. Louis, they have what is called the Muni Opera. The Muni Opera is like an outdoor theater. It would be equivalent to, let's say, here, the Greek or Hollywood Bowl, except they would have all these Broadway shows.
Okay.
And I saw musicals as a kid. But going into a theater, into a dark room with a big screen, and seeing how that affected people, that was what I wanted to do.
Okay, so you wanted to change people, help people.
Yeah, I wanted to make people, especially comedy. I wanted to make people laugh and feel good, but it was something about, you know, what these people did on that screen. Man, I sure want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that about you through, you know, researching that you wanted people to have an experience and go home in a better mood. That's great. Did your parents, did they give you singing lessons at some point? Or?
They gave me piano lessons at an early age, and I was in church choir and glee club in grade school. But, you know, I started singing with kind of a doo-wop group and a band, you know, kind of on our own. So it kind of evolved from there.
Okay. And then at what point did you go on the road with comedy?
Oh, wow. It was after I came to Los Angeles. I sang in a band. I worked in radio for years and years and years. And
so you were like, you hosted a radio show?
Hosted a radio show, an R&B show.
Was that when you were still in St. Louis?
I was in Missouri, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I went to Texas. And I ended up working at a country western station. Yeah.
How'd you get that job?
Well, you know, I went down there because a friend of mine was working at a station in Fort Worth.
Okay.
And, you know, radio, you know, you go where the jobs are. And he was the program director, but by the time I got there, he wasn't the program director anymore. I don't say that he was fired or anything. It's just that he was not the program director anymore. And I needed a job. So I just took the first job I could take. It was at a country station.
Okay.
And I worked there for a little over a year.
All right.
And I learned a lot.
Good experience.
It was a good experience, yeah. And I was that good old boy on
the radio.
I won't say the call letters, but yeah.
You kept it PG.
Yeah, kept it PG.
for the country.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then how did you get to LA?
Well, it's kind of I don't want to say it's a sad tale. I decided to come here after a divorce, and I bit the bullet, said if you don't go now, you'll never go. So
did you have LA in your heart?
Always in my heart.
Always.
My dad was out here, and I knew that I wanted to act. I wanted to be an actor, and I knew that if I didn't do it, then I'd never do it. So
now or never.
I threw everything in my car, and I came here.
So you drove cross country from Texas.
Cross country from Texas to here.
That takes a lot of courage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got here the day I got here, my car caught on fire.
Oh dear. Oh gosh.
Yeah. So I was
welcome to LA.
Welcome to LA. You can't leave now because you don't have a car.
Oh, that's
but I got here. I fell in love with it. When I left Texas, it was like 12 below zero. It was one of those crazy winters they had.
Okay.
And I got here. It was like 80 degrees. And I was like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's a lot, much better weather here. It's much more doable. Did you have any challenges when you first started acting? Did you?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Just the rejection alone is a challenge, but finding an agent, getting the proper headshots, all those types of things. Getting an agent in the beginning was probably the biggest challenge because you couldn't get an agent unless you were part of the guild, and you couldn't get in the guild without having work, and the only way you get work is an agent submits you, so it was like this catch-22 that you found yourself in.
Okay.
And through a friend who referred me to my first agent, I got a commercial, and that kind of led to other things, and my first real gig was on a soap opera, and it just kind of started, you take small steps, and then you take bigger steps, and as long as you don't quit, things start to happen.
Good message. Did you ever want to give up during that time? Did you ever like giving up cross your mind?
Every day.
Really?
Every day is like, okay, can I do something else? No, you can't. No. To be honest, I've given up. No,
it's just not an option, right?
Yeah, it's not an option. I never had a plan B. This is always what I wanted to do.
You're my kind of guy. I don't have a plan B either.
Yeah, I mean, plan B, what is that?
Sometimes you just have to jump in with both feet and not necessarily have all your ducks in a row, but just figure it out as you go.
Yeah, figure it out and know that it's going to be okay. Know that. I know that. So I've been here now, I won't say how many years, but quite a few years.
Okay.
And I still have ups and downs, but I have more ups than downs.
Great. Yeah. Who supported you? Who didn't support you?
Well, I think the important thing when you come to Los Angeles, especially if you're going to work in television and film, is to have a good core of friends that keep you grounded, preferably friends who aren't in the business. But what I did was I started to make friends who were in the business, and they either supported or encouraged, especially when things got dark. And then I had family members. I had brothers who had moved here from St. Louis, and they kind of kept me grounded also, especially after things started to happen. They really keep you grounded.
Good. And then did they remain supportive, like through the whole? They were all like always like, you can do it. You should do it. Don't give up.
Don't give up. And I found myself saying this to one of my aunts who's not with us anymore, but I found myself saying, I apologize for not doing, not being a doctor or whatever it was. And she said, no, this is what we always expected you to do. So, so that was like one of the biggest votes of confidence that I'd ever gotten.
Yeah.
And so it let me know that I was doing exactly what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah. It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, what was like your first big break where you were like, oh, I just got the break that I've been...
The first job I got was, like I said, on a show called The Bold and the Beautiful. It was only a one-day job, but I was like, okay, this is cool.
That's a national. That's a big show. Job.
Yeah, and then I did. First really big break I would say would be on a show called The Practice. I had a guest lead on there, and it just it started things rolling.
Okay.
And I've done just about every episodic TV show you can name.
Yeah.
Some I still would like to do, but that kind of started things, and you know, we're talking about 20-something years ago, you know.
So just took the one big door and then other doors.
And what it does, people see your work.
Yeah.
You become...
Then they remember you.
They remember you. Casting, and it's what I teach actors, is that you just want the casting directors to become a fan. You don't necessarily want to book the job, but you want to create the Stan Davis or the William Stanford Davis fan club, and they remember you. And as long as you don't go in and knock over the furniture and you leave a good smell in the room, they bring you back.
Oh. Would you say like a lot in the casting is like the relationships that you create with the casting director? Or
Well, in order to
be asked back for another one?
But I think your work brings you in more than anything else. You really have to do the work. The relationships are a big part of it, but nothing takes the place of the work. Nothing. You know. So if you go in the room and, you know, you could be best friends and you...
But if you don't have the talent,
you don't deliver,
you
won't be asked back.
Exactly.
And you don't want to, you know, especially if it's a friend who's a casting person. I never want to if a friend of mine is casting something and they bring me in, I really want to make them look good. I really want to be there for them and do the best that I can, just to honor them for bringing me in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love your quote. If you make an omelet, you need to be prepared to break some eggs. So I was wondering, what eggs have you had to crack in your journey?
There's a guy. He's a friend of mine. He's no longer with us. He's a big. He was a writer. They used to call him a script doctor. He directed a lot of theater. A guy named John Bishop. I did a play with him, and after a play called Legacies, and after we did the play, I directed my first theater piece, and all the guys who were in the play were friends of mine. And I went back to John and said, John, you know, these guys, they come on the set, they want to play, and we have, you know, 15-minute conversations about this, and, you know, and they're my buddies. He said, man, you know, in order to make an omelet, you got to crack some eggs. You got to break some eggs. And so the next day I went in and I just let them have it. I read them the riot act, and they just fell in line, you know. So I got that from John.
You're really living your destiny. That's got to feel really good to be so aligned. At what point did you get involved in theater, or were you always involved in theater?
I wasn't always, you know, like I said, when I came here, I came with my eye on being an actor, and you know, at the time I came to, there were a lot of people doing stand-up because they thought that stand-up was going to be the passage way into a sitcom and that type of thing. I never thought that, but you know, I wanted to visit every aspect of this business, in front of the camera and behind. But when I did a play that really changed everything, changed the way that I looked at the work. It changed my whole outlook on how I would approach the work, how I thought about it, how, you know, and it let me realize that every day you get a chance to make it brand new.
Okay.
So I got involved in theater after I came to Los Angeles, but theater became like, oh my God, this is what I love more than anything else.
Oh wow, that's exciting.
You know, I have this saying that says, TV makes you famous, film makes you rich, but theater makes you good. And I stole that from off of a wall over on the lot at Paramount. Someone had scribbled that like in graffiti. And I decided that was going to be kind of my moniker. Theater makes you good. You get a chance to work your craft over and over and over again, over and over again. Even when it seems like it's, oh my God, again.
Well, how do you make it different?
You've got to make it different.
Is that the key really?
That's the key, that every day is a new day. I mean, you still have the same history, the same circumstances, but you get a chance to bring something new to it every day.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's neat. Did you always want to direct?
Yeah, I always, you know, I directed, like I said, I directed a play a few years back with some friends, and I was always interested in putting the puzzle together, having a vision, and making every aspect of it come together, from the lights and the sound and having a creative vision on how can I take these words off of the page and see it come to fruition on stage. And that's helped me be a better actor also. I've directed plays and I've directed a short film. I think that I like directing. I can't say if I like directing theater more than I like directing film, but I like seeing it all come together.
Yeah, you kind of like being involved in every aspect.
Every aspect of it.
Because when you're a director, you're in control of like the creative process.
Right.
You ever direct and act in the same play or same project?
No.
No.
I see guys that do it. I know that Denzel has done it. I've seen other guys. A friend of mine did it. That's something I haven't tackled yet. I like to wear one hat at a time. I like to wear one hat at a time. I think that if I'm directing it, I can stay outside of it and be objective and guide. If I'm in it, I'm kind of okay, second guessing myself sometimes, or especially if okay, let's do another one. I got another one in me. Let's do another one. That's me. I know that's what I would do, but then again, maybe not.
Right. Yeah, it's probably better to just wear one hat, do one project,
one hat at a time,
so that you kind of have like the panoramic view when you're directing.
Right.
Would you say that you have like a specific directing style?
Yeah, I mean,
to keep
as I
it
said,
fun?
yeah, I want it to be fun on stage. I want everyone to enjoy themselves. I don't want it to get monotonous, And how do you keep it fun? I respect actors because I am an actor. I try to be as concerned with, have a concern for their needs, and I try to not force. I want them to come in and show me something. Come in and show me something. If you come in and show me something, then we're going to have a lot of fun. If you come in depending on me to show you something, then
they're not doing their job.
They're not doing their job. So if you come in prepared, you come in ready, you come in, hey man, I got this idea. Now we're going to have some fun.
Okay.
And that's the way I like to work.
Right. Well, they need to bring in their responsibility too.
Right.
Are you working on any plays right now?
Well, actually, I've started work on. We're going to do a show about the life of a jazz legend, Lester Young.
Oh.
And we're just started to do pre-reads on it, and we're hoping if everything goes right, it will be going up sometime maybe in late August, early September.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're directing that?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you, when you probably get so many actors auditioning for you.
Right.
Do you see everyone, or is there, what do you see when you audition? Like, what do you look for in an actor?
You want to look for someone who was, first of all, committed to the truth. But the thing that I look for more than anything is real human behavior. Not acted behavior. Just Stanislavski says that acting is real behavior in an imaginary circumstance or an imaginary condition. That's what I look for. Is this actor behaving? Is this actor just saying lines? Is this actor forcing? Is this actor staying in the moment, relating to the person that they're talking to, and using his or her senses, what he sees, what he touches, what he smells, what he hears, to feed him. Okay. And that's what I look for. People can come in and they do a great reading. People can come in and they rehearsed it, and I find that most actors, oh my God, just don't let me forget my lines. The lines aren't going to save you. The thing I look for is someone who comes in, they know where they are, and that's something that I have to, when I'm auditioning as an actor, I have to really understand that this is not an audition room. This is the place that this activity is it's happening. This is an actual place. It's not an audition room.
Okay. When they take you to a different place other than that room when
Right.
you when they're believable.
I got to see that they know where they are first of all before they say anything. You know, if I'm waiting at a bus stop in Chicago or in St. Louis in the winter, I got to see that I'm waiting for that bus. You know, you know,
Paint the picture.
Paint the picture.
Okay.
You know, wear the shoes, have your feet planted, and then most casting directors aren't going to act with you, so you really have to hear the voice of the character that you're working with. If you and I were in a scene, I'd have you the actor to feed off of, but in the casting room, you're not going to have that. So you have to hear with intent. You have to listen with intent and react to what you get. And a lot of actors, they just want to go in and get the lines right.
Yeah,
You know,
but that's only what the lines are. What 50% of it, and the rest is the emotion and the delivery and.
Well, emotion, delivery, it's just behavior. I'd rather see 1 minute of behavior over an hour of dialogue. You know.
Yeah.
You know,
Quality.
1 minute of real, honest to goodness behavior beats you know, all the words in the world.
Well, with being an actor, I can imagine like the opportunities that you have and the people that you get to work with and people that you get to meet and being invited to different places. I actually saw that you were at a gifting suite not too long ago, the American Awards, Country
American Music
Awards.
Yeah, American Music Awards gifting suite, they have these things for every event now.
So it's just like old hat now.
Every event there's you know, people promoting their products. I mean, if
wanting
you go,
to sell things.
If you go to the Oscars and you go to a gifting suite, or you go to the Oscars and they have what they call a swag bag. Some of those bags are worth $200,000, $300,000, $400,000.
Each bag, each swag. What is
are,
it? What kind of swag is it?
They give
Diamonds.
you trips. They give you diamonds. They give you trips. They give you watches.
Because they want you to wear their stuff.
And it's a way of saying job well done, but you know, you have to pay taxes on that stuff too. The gifting suites are a smaller version of that. People are promoting their products, and they like to have celebrities there too to promote their products.
So with that, the expensive swag bags, like what's the best part about being an actor? Is it the celebrities, the swag bags, the red carpets? Like, what's your favorite thing?
The best part of being an actor for me is knowing that I've done the work. Getting to that place in the work where it's, for me, it's like an out-of-body experience where I don't remember what just happened, that it was just such a moment. You're so immersed in the truth that, you know, when you come out like, okay, what just happened? You know, all that other stuff, that's you know,
just byproduct, that's great byproduct, but
it's stuff, you know. There's nothing more rewarding for me. Now, I can't speak for other actors, but there's nothing more rewarding for me than actually doing the work and seeing that it affects someone, it affected someone, it moved someone, it disturbed someone, it made someone happy or it made them cry, whatever, that your work was so believable that
it changed
someone. Yeah.
I heard a really great quote once about actors and entertainment people in general, that it doesn't matter, like, you know, you could have like 150 no's and have gone through all of that hardship, but then that little tiny piece of fulfillment when you do get something, if it's like a minute or an hour, that is so powerful that it's just worth it all. Yeah. And if you don't have that within you, then you would never understand. If
you don't have that within you, you shouldn't be doing this.
That's right.
You know, you shouldn't be doing this. I think that every no gets you. It's like they tell you in sales, every no gets you closer to a yes. I think every time you hear no, okay, that means I got that one out of the way.
Yeah. You're closer to a yes.
To it, you know.
Would you say it's almost like a numbers game? Like the more auditions you go to, the better chance, the more no's?
In the beginning, definitely. You know, you can't book a job unless you're in the room, you know. And in the beginning, it takes numbers because no one knows who you are. They don't know if they can trust you.
Right.
You don't know if you're going to go on the set and cause a problem or whatever, you know. So it's going to take a lot of no's before you get a yes. And yes, it is a numbers game. Specifically in commercials, they have a formula that says you got to go out 30 times before you book. None of those really, you know,
matter. Depends on the person,
yeah, and
but
it's all theory. But I think that you're going to bump into a lot of walls before your door. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have a great quote dealing with no's, and I say no means not now.
Not now, yeah. I agree. I agree. That's perfect. I like that. I'm still that.
You can steal that.
Yeah.
No problem.
Not now, yeah.
What are you most known for in your career?
Well, I'm working on a show right now called Ray Donovan. And I get stopped more.
Very famous show.
Yeah, than anything that I've done in the past. But I've done a lot of different episodic television shows. But Ray Donovan, I've had people stop me in restaurants. I've been in the airport in other cities.
Yes.
Oh, you're that guy, Ray, you know, Ray Donovan, you know, and I'm really just grateful and honored to be on the show with such a great cast, you know.
Yeah.
But
and how do you feel about playing that character?
Potato Pie, I love him. He's got a great he's got a moral compass. He's been through a lot in his career. I mean, he's had good fighters. He's had great fighters in his time. He was a great fighter himself, you know, and he's had his ups and his downs, but he's never let any of that change him or taint him in any way. He's a bit jaded in some ways, you know, but I think he's a realist. But I think more than anything else, he loves what he does. And he really loves Terry Donovan. You know, he's like, Terry's like his son. He's like a son he never had.
Okay. So are you all like really close with the cast?
Cast is pretty close. You know, cast, they hang out. You know, I've hung out with a lot of the cast members. You know, it's a pretty tight-knit group.
We are filming right now.
Right, shooting the show right now.
Yeah. Have you filmed this week?
No, I didn't work this week.
Okay.
And I can't talk about the show.
Oh, I'm not going to ask. I always am like interested with people's schedules, I guess, and how people, you know, actors, talent, like make everything work.
Yeah.
So that's more what that question was about.
You know, even my wife should say, "Well, what's going on with the show?"
You can't even tell your wife.
Don't ask her, you know, because she'll tell her friends, and next thing you know, it's like a big conversation. Not that it's a big deal, but you know, you just want to, you want it to be a surprise too. You know, you know, there's a lot of surprises on the show this season.
Excellent.
A lot of, you know, I think from the first episode, people are going to go, "Oh my God," you know. So.
Do you ever like? What's it like when you need to read for a character that's out of your own character? Does it play any part, or does it affect you, or it's just part of the acting?
It's a part of the, you know, we play all types. I think that we have to be everything that a human being can be. You know, everything from a saint to a sinner, you know. And so...
That's a wide range.
Yeah, it is. And what I teach actors, because especially young actors and new actors, they want to get it right. They want to go in and they want to please the cast and director or the producer or whatever. And it's not about that. It's about just telling the truth. And so if I get a role, I just did a role on Criminal Minds. There's a guy who was like a lifer in prison.
So that's your latest project.
Right. Besides Ray Donovan, that's my latest, yes.
Okay.
And I've never been in prison, you know, thank God. Oh my God, I mean, it can get very real.
It sounds like you were too focused to.
But you go back to the basics of who this character is, what is he doing, why is he here, you know, who are these people in relationship to you, and then you just stick to the truth. I think if you do that, you could play everything from a king to a pauper, you know. I think that you can be everything and everything in between. I think as human beings, we we have a lot of the same experiences, believe it or not. Even that guy in prison, he still has someone that loves him, and he loves someone.
And he has fear, and he's scared.
You know,
he wants to succeed.
He wants to succeed. You know, he wants to learn more. You know, and there are emotions and things that we can't even describe. That there are no words for. Writers write things for actors, but I think as human beings, you know, there are words sometimes that can't even describe the feelings that we have.
Yeah.
You know.
Sometimes you're just at a loss. You can't
can't
human being is so complex.
So complex. So I try to find those places and those inexplainable, unexplainable places
It must be really hard to channel that, to get down to that vulnerable, not necessarily just
once again, it is in the sense that if you've done your work and you've prepared and you commit yourself to the truth of what's going on,
really go wrong.
You can't. It's almost formulaic. You know, I've been out here so long. I've been in acting classes over the years and workshops, and you have people who concentrate on emotion. I just think that emotion is a payoff for telling the truth. I think emotion sneaks up on us. We can't plan an emotion. We can't plan to laugh or to cry. They catch us off guard, you know. So I think you can go to a class to work those muscles, to learn the craft in the sense of like being in the gym, so to speak. But I think that that the emotion, you know, I have parents especially that will come to me to coach their kid or to teach their kid. They say, she can cry. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Or I have an actor tell me that I can cry on the cue. Okay, well, what does that mean? You know?
Yeah.
You know, okay, I try not to be rude, but I also ask them, what does that mean? You know, why do you tell me that? Because emotion, if you know in your real life, emotion, you know, you hear something, you're riding in the car, you hear something on the radio, and it's almost, you just start laughing, you know, or you start laughing in an inappropriate place. I've learned that what we do as human beings is all those things, especially those emotional things, we try to cover up. You know, we try not to laugh, we try not to cry. You know, we try to hide that because we don't want to look bad or we don't want to look uncool or uncomfortable. Right. So back to your original question, when you work on a role, you just try to first of all find everything in this character that you have in common with them. First of all, I try to make it personal. Sometimes I'll use a substitution. I try to see if there's anything in my life that I've experienced like this, and then I just try to find his truth and connect it to my truth and see where that takes us.
Wow. It's been taking you on a pretty good journey there. Well, speaking of what you were just talking about with the children, I really respect you because you teach what you know.
Right.
At what point or what made you want to get into being a coach?
To be honest, my wife, she pushed me into it.
Oh, right. That's awesome.
I mean, no. Well, the actual coaching part.
Technical difficulties. That happens.
My wife, you know, I was working with some actors that I was in class with, and they would go out and book the job. You know, I'd work with them, try this, do that. You know, let's work on this, work on that. And they would go out and book the job. And my wife said, you should be getting paid for that. You should, you know. And I started laughing. I'm like, no. She said, oh, your time is valuable. And he went out and he booked that job.
How much time did you spend with him?
An hour.
Okay.
Know. So she said, you know, that's an hour of your time. And she said, if you don't value your time, no one else is going to value it. And that kind of made sense to me. And she, you know, she's a very smart woman.
Yeah.
You know,
businesswoman.
Very, very much a businesswoman.
Okay, and then it started from there.
It started from there, but I was always working. You know, there was a love for it. Don't get me wrong. The love for it was always there. But she made me understand how to take this and you know, create some value from it too. You know?
Okay.
And I found out that people had no problem with that. You know, if they were booking a job, they would come back. You know,
exactly.
and help me with this role, help me with that role. And that's kind of how that got started. But it also started from where I had so many people that helped me. that worked with me, that inspired me, that coached me, that gave me their time, and I decided, okay, you know, it's
time to move on into that coaching.
To give that back.
So how long did you coach before you decided to start coaching children?
I'd been teaching at a class that I taught for about 12 years, an adult class, and one of the adults that I worked with brought their child to me and said, you know, he wants to work. In fact, he is working on, I forget which show, but, you know, will you work with him and you know, maybe help him fine tune it? And that kind of led to the other. She told a friend. It's kind of like that shampoo commercial, and she told a friend, and so on and so on and so on.
So word of mouth, and
word
then
of mouth, yeah.
And then the kids' workshops were born.
The kids' workshops were born.
Speaking of that, I have a couple pictures from the kids' workshops. A couple of them in their costumes there.
Yeah.
What play was that from?
Well, this was just a party we had.
Okay.
You know, I told them this was Halloween. These kids are adults now.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Well, they're not adults, but they're pretty, you know, they're working actors. They're working on big projects, you know. And this is exercise. We had them do some improv exercises, but the one where the costumes were, I said, you know, I want you to come back next week as someone you admired. You know, so one came back as Cleopatra, one came back as Marilyn Monroe, and one came back as Tina Turner.
Oh, wow.
You know, so then I would have them do the scenes
as that character,
you know, just to get them out of their heads, just to give them another little flavor.
How fun is that?
So, and that's the thing, you know, especially with kids, you have to keep it fun, you have to keep it interesting. And, you know, because their attention span is so short. So we might do something, and 5 minutes later we might be doing something totally different.
Right.
You know, we might do something with music, or we might do something where I just have them do something silly. Just something silly, just to get them out of their head.
Out of their comfort zone.
Out of their comfort zone, out of being stuck. Oh my God, I got to be here another hour.
Right.
You know, I could be at Disneyland. You know.
Is it easier to work the? We have a picture up there with your acting master class too. Looks like you're getting the adults in the improv too.
Right.
Yeah. They got their arms up.
Yeah, they're stretching. They're just getting their instrument prepared.
Oh, I like that instrument.
Yeah. And I'm looking at these kids, and I don't want to, but I'm looking at all of them. I'm so proud of them. They're all working.
Oh, wow.
They're all working on series.
Wow. So what age can children start coaching with you, training with you?
I don't like to take anyone under 8.
Under 8.
You know, even with an 8 to a 10-year-old, sometimes you still have to give them a line read.
Okay.
And I don't have a problem giving them a line read, but I find that if they're younger than that,
then
their attention,
their attention,
it just kind of wanes.
Okay.
And if it's someone that is that age, I usually have the parent really involved.
Okay.
Really involved, you know. So it's not just coaching the kid, it's coaching the parent too.
Okay. Well, my Athena is 21 months old, so I'm going to bring her to you when she's about 8.
She's about 8.
Yeah, we'll do a mom and me class. So
we'll do that.
Yeah, so she can be a little bit involved, and then when she turns 10.
I love that name, Athena.
Thank you.
It's a goddess.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Athena James, actually.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Beautiful name.
So you must not get... You know, while we're still in the pictures, let's go ahead and put your headshot up.
Okay.
I saw that headshot, and I was like, now that is one heck of a headshot,
Oh, wow.
Stan.
Thank
I mean, you must be good at these, you know, having taken several, I'm sure, throughout the year, but if I didn't know you, I would be like, I want to get to know that guy. He looks fun.
It's funny.
He looks happy.
One of my old teachers, and we're still good friends, she Facebooked me. She said, that picture says, I'm here, I've arrived, it's my turn, all those type of things. You all know who I am. She just had all these superlatives.
Okay.
But, you know, they say that what makes a casting director, you know, they kind of go through pictures, is your picture has to kind of stop them. And I'm always trying to just either give off an approachable vibe or a vibe like, oh my God, who is this guy? You know, that type of thing. Yeah. So that's what I try to do with a headshot.
I've heard the word aspirational. They casting directors want you to look like you don't already have everything.
Look like a star.
They want you to look like a star.
I think aspirational. They want you to look like you have it, and to me, that's what a star is. Someone who has aspired, and someone who, I got this.
Yeah, you definitely have got the it factor going on, but it's a friendly it factor. It's not it's an approachable it factor, and that takes a whole lot. So I really like that headshot. Yeah. I would. What advice would you give to a young person wanting to do this as a career? Now, I know you said if you can do anything else,
if you can do anything
do
else,
it. If anything will do, so feed your heart. But
don't quit. I mean, it sounds simple, but you never know when success is going to come. Some people, say, okay, it's after 10 years, 20 years of pounding the pavement, but it could happen tomorrow,
Yeah.
I just think that if you're committed to it, and this is what you really want to do, nothing can stop you. There's a lot of guys that I came out here with that have, gone on to do other things because it's not a fair, it's not a fair or a 9 to 5 that I get a paycheck on Friday and I can support my family with this and that type of thing. It's very unfair. Sometimes someone who is not the most talented will get the gig,
get the job.
And so, you got to deal with all of those things. But the most important thing is that you don't give up. Is this what you want to do? Then, your commitment to it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Okay. Wow. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
On a series that has already been running for 5 years.
All right. Good answer. I like that.
And I like to do I've done a lot of 99 seat and a lot of equity. Small theater plays, but I love to do a couple of things on Broadway before I check out.
Speaking of plays, I was reading about your play, The Old Settler.
Right.
Are you going to bring that back anytime soon?
It was such a fun project to work on, to direct, and the actors were just so committed, and they went out, they raised the money to get it put up and everything. A lot of people ask us if we're going to bring it back. We'd like to. We may. It's a lot of work, but it was so. I haven't done anything that satisfying in a long time.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Well, if you do indeed bring it back, make sure you message me.
Oh, no doubt, for sure, for sure.
I'd like to come check it out.
I'll come in and tell you personally.
Okay. Well, thank you. And just a couple more things. What do you do when you just have downtime between projects? Do you try to keep working on your craft? Do you?
I think that you should work on your craft every day, no matter what it is, even if it's nothing but stapling your pictures together or something. And a lot of actors can't even relate to that aspect of it. I think if you feed your career every day, it will reap you benefits. But I'm a human being. I like to do other things. I don't know if you call what I do playing golf, but I like to go out there with my golf club.
You like to swing the golf club.
I like to swing the golf club.
Okay, yeah. Hobbies are good. You can't work.
You got to have other things to do. You can't sit around and wait for the phone to ring.
Yeah.
And of course, there's the old square job. You got to have something to support yourself. I know a lot of actors who don't like that part of it, but how are you going to do this if you don't
like that part of it?
Yeah, if you can't pay your rent or your keep the lights on or buy medicine or whatever it is you need. But always, I think it's good to have something else to do, a good hobby, a good outlet, horseback riding. Like I said, I play golf, playing tennis, swimming, or working with underprivileged kids or something, find something else to do. The best thing I think you can do is to give back.
Okay.
To help someone, and I try to do that as much as I can. Not that I'm, this altruistic person, but I try to, encourage. And I remember the Actor Studio And I try to help actors become members, you know,
Okay.
and I encourage them to help other actors to become members. You know?
Okay, that's great. How about we check out your reel quickly? If we could pull that up around, I found a part that I really liked. It's around 2 minutes, 10 seconds.
Okay.
Well, that's funny because I got a stack of disciplinary write-ups that say different. In fact, Officer Hightower and another guy, Rivers,
It's at
they
the
wrote
dry
Devon up a
cleaning
lot. They
scene.
even took him to the infirmary for fighting.
So you like the
I don't know nothing about that.
Big Bang
But they have
Theory.
some kind of problem
Yes.
with Devon.
You have to ask them.
They're both dead.
Don't say.
What are you not telling me?
Wow.
Because I'm sitting here looking at you, looking at me, and my gut says, you know exactly what's going on in here.
Can we pull it at 2 minutes, 10 seconds around?
Joe Montana is such a nice guy.
Is he?
Yeah, such a nice
This
guy.
is hilarious.
This is the only one.
A naked man sat on it. And now, here's my concern. His diet is rich in fatty deli meats. What tests do you have to detect lipid residue?
Lipid what?
Lipid residue. An anal autograph.
Oh, geez. So, anyway, it's just so funny. It's so different from your other roles.
Yeah.
And you were so perfect. Like, is
Yeah.
Tuesday okay?
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, it was such fun. Everybody there was just so nice, you know. Yeah. everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've had so many amazing experiences. I mean, your resume is mile long. You've got the Finder, the Guardian.
Blessing.
Yeah, Saving Grace, Shameless, Big Bang Theory, Bold and the Beautiful, Ray Donovan, on and on. So we could have talked about so many things today, but I really enjoyed talking about your journey.
No, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so, all right, AfterBuzz fans, today we learned so many things. It was so great getting to know you. Don't quit. Commit to your craft and just never give up. Work on your craft every day.
That's right.
Yeah. Can they find you anywhere on your Facebook or?
Facebook, William Stanford Davis on Facebook. I'm at W Stan Davis on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at Stan the Man.
All right. All right. AfterBuzz fans, please check him out. You can tweet me directly at Candice_Camacho. You can check out my YouTube at New Mom, New Wife. New Life, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, give this video a thumbs up, and we will see you soon. Thanks so much for joining us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.